Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 160 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Knowing Wheel returns once again because we have pretty much made it to the start of the all-new Formula 1 season. Yes, this week we have got winter testing and the return release of Drive to Survive. Woo. And then next week we are back finally Grand Prix racing once again. And of course, as always, to talk us through everything that has gone on in the Formula 1 world, I'm joined by Jamie183. How are we doing, my guy?
Hello, I'm good. I'm excited that we've almost made it through the dregs of winter. Not only in Formula 1 terms, but also it's light outside my window, which is wonderful. So yeah, it's all coming up. If you live in the UK, I'm sure you're very excited that soon it won't be getting dark at 5:30 every day.
Wonderful. We live for the summer. At least I do anyway. But of course, yeah, we're almost at the coveted episode 183, which we've got a lot planned for that one. You guys certainly do not want to miss it. As well as obviously a quick reminder that, you know, Jamie and I, we've got to remind ourselves this as much as we're reminding you guys, but help us get to 10,000 subscribers and we'll try and get to every European Formula 1 factory inside 24 hours. We'll try and do a whole road trip. It would be a right laugh. So yeah,
yes.
Definitely.
And vlog it.
And we'll vlog it, of course, ready for the channel as well. But we had our final car reveals, didn't we, Jamie, over the course of the last week. Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull, and kind of half McLaren. And what I must say before we get into this is every team, with the exception of Alpine, fair play to them, they got on with it and just revealed the car. Ferrari astounded me by the fact it was just a 2-minute video.
There was no fashion show this year.
No.
Unbelievable. I didn't catch any of them live, so I just saw them on Twitter when they dropped. But yeah, we usually have... I remember one year, I think it was 2020 pre-COVID when they were launching them. Most teams, like the average time was about half an hour. Some teams got up to an hour before you saw the livery. It's crazy. But thankfully, those days are in the past.
Unless you're Alpine.
Yeah, unless you're Alpine. But they always do things their own way, don't they? So, which one was first? It was Mercedes, wasn't it, out of these?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, Tuesday morning.
Yes. So, I quite like it. I do, yes. Obviously, they're moving away from the full black livery, as they were always going to have to do. They did obviously in 2022, but then went back to it and then failed, and then they're going back from it again. I don't know what's going on with them, but I really like this from the side, especially. Unfortunately, from the front, it looks pure silver, and from the back, yeah, it doesn't look particularly good either. But I think, yeah, from the side profile they tweeted, I massively like this car.
I think they've actually done, a really, really good job with it overall. I think, you said there about how you don't like the look of the silver on the front. I'm going to politely disagree with you on that one. Obviously, we know why they're going back to silver, because if they ran a black car this year and then went straight back to silver just because Lewis is gone, probably not a good look for Mercedes.
No.
So I see, obviously, that they're slowly making that transition back. And obviously, I don't think either of us forget, the importance of obviously why they've ran a black livery anyway in recent times. But also I think it's fair as well, that they don't forget, their history of being the Silver Arrows as well. Which is obviously important, because calling yourselves the Silver Arrows and then never running a silver car is a little bit strange as well.
Yes, I think they've kind of hit the mark with this, to be honest, because it is obviously that nice transition between the two, as it's Lewis's last year for driving for them. I like the kind of Petronas blue is always a staple of these cars, and yeah, I think it looks really smart. I do like it.
I must admit as well, when you think the fact they've been able to coordinate silver, black, like that bluey green for Petronas, and red for Ineos, that has a real combination to be quite a colour clash, and they've done pretty well with it again, haven't they?
Yes, they have. And it remains to be seen if it's any good on track, but hopefully for Lewis's sake it will be. I as much as I'm not a Hamilton fan, I would love to see him win a race this year for Mercedes.
I mean, it would feel like it's a little bit of a sour taste, wouldn't it, if it turns out that Jeddah 2021 ends up being his last Merc win. Like, just because of how stupid that race was.
Or even the last Formula 1 win. Don't want to float that one too.
Well, yeah, I'll just be crying for the next 20 minutes at the thought of that.
Yeah, I hope, that it does well for the team. I do like it. I'll give this livery an 8.5.
Well, are we going to do a full quick ranking in a minute once we've gone through the other two?
And we'll see if we're consistent with what we said in the previous
Exactly. Someone will tell us off for getting these wildly wrong in the end. Ferrari, though, I actually think we got it wrong. I think they revealed the day before Merc did. I like it. I really, really like it.
As well.
I'm slowly getting myself onto the Ferrari hype train, Jamie, ready for next year.
Yeah, you have to like it contractually as a Lewis Hamilton fan, don't you? So
did you see there was a thing on Reddit a few days ago that got something ridiculous, like 7,000 upvotes, that was, I genuinely don't want Charles Leclerc to win a world championship because of this guy, and it was literally a picture of ex-Matty G. 7,000 people.
Fair, isn't it? Yeah,
maybe
I like Leclerc as a driver. He's a bit like when Liverpool win at football. You just, as happy as you are for the club, you just don't want the fans to be happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Sainz wins the world championship, over the moon. Love that. He's only got one more chance for Ferrari. But I really like this car. They're going to struggle to throw off the Lightning McQueen accusations, but
no,
maybe that's what they were going for. Yeah, I'm glad to see not much carbon exposed. Obviously, it's a Ferrari, so it's going to be red. And yeah, I think it looks really nice. It looks a bit McDonald's, but yeah, it's good. I'm happy for them.
Did we also see their botched social media thing last week as well? That was funny.
The first Ferrari screw up of the season. Yeah.
So if you guys didn't know, Ferrari posted out a video last week of like poetry in motion, which was them doing a pit stop, except for they uploaded the wrong clip where someone blundered trying to put one of the tyres on.
Yeah, so it was like a 3.5 second pit stop.
It got taken down like a day later. No one had spotted it up to then.
To be fair to the admin, they did own it, so...
Exactly, they styled it out well. Last but not least then, Jamie, he came as no surprise, did it? Because Max confirmed it beforehand. But the Red Bull looks like a Red Bull. And I got told off by the Red Bull police this last week because I don't believe people. So someone had basically put out a tweet going, the Red Bull's becoming iconic because of this livery, all this, that, and the other. It's like a new Ferrari. And I was like, well, it's not, is it? There's levels to this game.
Yeah, but I mean, it is part of their brand to have a car that looks exactly like this now. So,
well, it has, forever.
Yeah, well, it has since they debuted. So I do understand why they don't change it, but the fact I cannot spot a single difference in the livery.
No. Apart from sponsors.
Yeah, which is a bit mad. Like, at least Ferrari kind of changed the design a slight bit. Obviously, it's going to be predominantly red. Like, this Red Bull is going to be predominantly purple with the yellow nose and airbox and little red bits here and there. They could at least do something. I mean, yeah, I feel like there's a part of Red Bull who are employed to design the livery. And what have they been doing?
Easiest job in the world.
Easiest job in the world.
I could do
Control
that job.
C, Control V, done.
Yeah,
it's
wild.
like, it's crazy.
That being said, though, must be noted, the Red Bull livery might not have changed much. The car has. They've built the Mercedes W14 for some reason.
Adrian Newey is cooking. That's what's happening.
Dark magic has he done? I'm already scared.
He has looked at the W14 and thought, I can fix you.
Yep.
And so he's just out here doing side quests to fix bad Mercedes as a Red Bull. So, yeah, I really hope it is successful. Obviously, I don't want them to dominate the sport as they have been doing. But if Adrian Newey can win the World Championship while correcting Mercedes engineers, that would be so funny.
I mean...
And we were saying beforehand, the other 9 cars all look like a 2023 Red Bull, and the 2024 Red Bull doesn't. So it's the one car that isn't copied in aerodynamics from the previous year. So, I mean, the vertical side pods, vertical air inlets is what we're talking about on the side pods. So, yes, I think Adrian Newey has cooked up a storm, and we'll see what happens.
Well, what I hate most about that as well is you said, obviously, how if that Red Bull wins. The worrying thing is, even though this has potentially created quite a stir, it will. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't... Because let's be fair, at the end of the day, we've had... I mean, we haven't really heard any technical regs, have we? Between last year and this year. I don't genuinely know whether there are any at all. Between last year and this year.
I don't know if there are. They certainly aren't.
There might be some minute things in terms of like minimum weight requirements and that kind of thing. But, I mean, let's be fair. If Red Bull showed up to Bahrain and suddenly the car wasn't looking that great in winter testing, you just bring back last year's car.
Yeah, because that's what everyone else has done.
It's certainly not going to be a back marker, is it? Over 1 year.
Yeah, I hope that Adrian Newey has magicked something crazy.
I don't see a world in which he hasn't. I think it's the thing.
Yeah.
But it does kind of beg the question, doesn't it? Of, kind of if all the teams are now suddenly on this wild goose chase to where Red Bull went last year, and then suddenly if this year's car is dominant itself anyway, you've only got 1 more year of these regs. How many teams do you think will then try and copy what Red Bull did this year? And how many teams do you just think will go, I don't care about 2025, I'm just putting all my eggs in the 2026 basket?
You feel like they've got to do that at some point. Obviously, they're all competitors, they want to win, but are you just chasing shadows after Red Bull, or are you going to actually try and build something fresh and new and try?
It's not the way you win, is it?
Yeah. But Adrian Newey just needs to be nerfed or cloned 9 times,
or
and then everyone can have one.
Or go to Ferrari for next year, because we still don't quite know what's going on with Christian Horner, do we?
No, we don't.
I mean, this might be the big thing, like our first major one of the year, that gets confirmed the day after we do a podcast. But
it doesn't seem to be. Obviously F1 have said they want it to be resolved. I would be surprised if this is done anytime soon. I said that when it first got confirmed. It's like it's the sort of thing that will rumble on for a while. Horner's obviously going to be in Bahrain this week. He was at the Red Bull launch, got a lot of questions about it, and obviously denied everything. And said it's a distraction.
He did about the budget cap, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
Well, what else can he do? He's not going to plead guilty in an interview, is he?
Oh no, of course not.
So
but
it's
but it is always
understandable.
quite funny. You could always just say no comment.
Yeah, but no comment is like pleading the fifth, isn't it? In America, is that the right? The fourth or fifth? I can't remember.
I plead the fifth, I believe. Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched Suits, so I can't remember.
Have you watched Suits? Have you?
Yeah, I have. Good show. Would recommend.
I've made it 4 episodes in, and I can't get over the fact that they tried to claim that the Midland from 2006 was like a championship-winning F1 car.
Yeah, as a random Midland rocks up 4 episodes in. It's great.
Yeah, bizarre. I mean, again, obviously we've kind of really covered this story, haven't we? Just for the sake of it's too big not to discuss. I think it's been the important thing, of course. We've seen sort of a lot of clickbait, a lot of theories about it, this, that, and the other. We've tried to kind of just really cover what we know, haven't we, rather than speculating too much. Kind of the most recent thing that's come out, isn't it, is allegedly, apparently, so Christian Horner's personal lawyers went to the whistleblower's personal lawyer and offered £650,000 for this to be settled outside of court, which they've gone to. So this was apparently over 3 weeks ago now. Over 2 weeks ago now, on the 3rd of Feb. And they basically turned around and went, no, not happening.
Well, if you're willing to settle that quickly, it means you're probably guilty
in it
for
for
that
money.
Speculation. So
yeah, exactly. And obviously, since then, another story came out that the team had already basically had a plan in place that was, we'll say you're off for medical reasons. You can announce your retirement as such. You can announce, obviously, you're leaving the team. You can go out pretty graciously, which I kind of reading that. I completely understand, obviously, why Red Bull have said that. But it's also pretty, pretty undermining if I was, the victim in all this. Feels pretty undermining. But of course, I get it from a business standpoint, obviously.
Yeah.
But he clearly wants to get, either this isn't true still, which could well be the case.
Yeah.
Either there is still a lot more politics at play because, I don't think anyone can call it a complete, let's get our tinfoil hats out for a moment. The Netherlands isn't the biggest country in the world. Neither is it the most powerful country in the world. Neither is it, particularly special or rare in any kind of way, in any sort of standard regard.
Say goodbye to our Dutch viewers.
Exactly. But no, what I mean by that, of course, is all of this is coming out in the Dutch press first.
Yes.
There is a lot of growing speculation, isn't there, as well, that Jos Verstappen is behind the scenes, just,
pulling the strings.
Maybe having a word here or there.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it looks like kind of forward his own motive.
It looks like Christian Horner is pretty adamant that he deserves to stay on as boss. So clearly he thinks it's either he's not guilty or it's not.
Why would you offer someone £650,000 to settle this outside of court?
Well, because it just gets rid of it, doesn't it? It just gets it to go be gone. So you can move on.
If it's baseless, then...
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do think there's no smoke without fire. Probably he's been up to no good. But yeah, I struggle to see this going away quickly.
No, exactly. I mean, I think we asked this question a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? But I'm going to ask you again then.
Okay.
Will Christian Horner be on the Red Bull pit wall in Bahrain Grand Prix time? Because you said no last time.
Did I? I think I said he wouldn't be by Abu Dhabi. That's what I said. So I stand by that. He won't be there in Abu Dhabi. But I think it's looking more likely he probably will in Bahrain, to be honest. Okay.
Let's try and do a quick fire ranking then, Jamie, of all of the liveries for 2024. We'll have a bit of an uncoordinated argument for a few minutes, which I'm sure is going to serve as fantastic listening.
Of all of them.
I mean, it's pretty simple for me at the bottom of the list. 10th is Stake, 9th is Alpine. I think those are the worst two.
They are. I would agree with you. I want to see. Where can I find a picture of all of them? Okay, got them. Yes. Yeah, I agree.
8th? Any claims to 8th?
What else is particularly not good? I don't hugely like the Williams.
I think the Williams has been ruined, hasn't it? Because it's worse than last year's.
Yeah.
I'm happy to put Williams down in 8th. 7th.
Okay, good. What's slightly better than the Williams, but not great? Could be McLaren. Looks a bit bumblebee, doesn't it?
I wouldn't say. I was going to put McLaren up at about 4th or 5th. Honestly, my claim for 7th was going to be the Red Bull. Sorry, because it's exactly the same.
It's just the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't mind it as a livery. It just looks identical to the previous 20 years.
Well, my kind of logic for the Red Bull was I was going to put the Haas in 7th, and I thought, well, actually, I think it's a slightly better design than last year. So I thought, well, that surely deserves to get bumped up against. It'll be the only time this year a Red Bull's in front of a Haas.
Behind a Haas, yes.
Haas is in front of a Red Bull, yeah. So there we go. So we've got Stake, Alpine, Williams, Red Bull, Haas, McLaren 5th.
Yeah, I would go with that. And then Aston Martin for me.
Aston Martin 4th, V-Carb 3rd. I think it was a good livery in theory because it was different.
But it doesn't quite hit. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it doesn't quite hit for me.
Ferrari and Mercedes have absolutely taken top 2, though, haven't they?
Yes.
I
want to put Ferrari top, Just.
The only thing, like you said a minute ago, is how much McDonald's vibes or lightning vibes it gives.
True. Maybe we give Mercedes their last win in Formula 1.
Their last win in Formula 1 ever. Okay, well, that went pretty smoothly then.
Let's do it.
So we're saying top. Mercedes, Ferrari, V-Carb, Aston Martin, McLaren, Haas, Red Bull, Williams, Alpine, Stake.
Yes.
That's
still
fair.
Rumbling away, isn't it? Stake might not be Stake.
Oh, yeah. They're not on the website, and then they are on the website, and then the team's on Kick, although I noticed, which probably doesn't mean a lot, but could be an inside, was Thomas Ronhard streaming on Twitch again rather than Kick. Or maybe he was streaming on both. No one checks Kick ever. But yeah, it's all sort of all over the place, isn't it?
It's a mess.
So we'll wait and see about that in the near future.
They've got the worst livery and the worst preparation for the season. So
Haas have got the worst preparation. They've already come out saying they reckon they're going to be last, don't they?
Oh yeah, they said that in November though, didn't they? So yeah, we shall see.
Well, Jamie,
Hello.
it's finally happening. Winter testing. People are going to get hyped by lap times that don't mean anything.
That don't mean anything at all. Yes, we're going to say that right now. Do not look into lap times.
No.
Unless Hulkenberg is quickest.
Okay.
And then I will look into lap times.
What I'm going to do quickly is fire off your quiz before we get into that, because it serves as a nice little segue at the halfway stage of the show.
Dear.
Let me get a timer up as well very quickly. Because this one, I think I counted it up beforehand, has 22 answers. Let me just double check that for you.
I'm worried.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
I'm going to forget
12,
someone
13,
obvious,
14,
I know
15,
already.
16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, 22 answers.
Okay.
You have got 90 seconds then this week. Already, I think you might be in trouble.
Right, okay.
Because you just said you were going to forget someone obvious.
Oh, it's not people.
You're not naming people this week, Jamie.
Wow.
I was gonna do places that have hosted winter testing. But it all gets very, very complicated back in the early 2000s when teams could host private testing. So Fiorano's on there.
Or in 2013 when Mercedes did it.
Or Mercedes in 2013. So what I've decided to do a bit differently is you have got 90 seconds, Jamie, to name me every current FIA Grade 1 circuit that isn't on the 2024 calendar.
That isn't on the calendar?
Isn't on the calendar.
I'm going to get about 4.
Starts now.
All right, Nürburgring.
Yep.
GP. Hockenheim.
Yep.
Le Castellet.
Yep.
Any in the UK? Donington?
Nope.
Brands Hatch? No, probably
nope.
not. Sochi, technically.
It wasn't on the list.
That's on there. Give me a point for that. Kuala Lumpur.
Yep.
Adelaide.
No.
Fuji International.
Yep, Fuji's on
there. Indianapolis. Watkins Glen. No.
No. Indy is on there.
Other countries in the world. Not on the calendar. What's been on the calendar recently that isn't? Oh, this is so hard. This is ridiculous.
40 seconds.
Valencia. No, probably not anymore, is it?
That's really annoying. You get a point for that, but it's not the Valencia you're thinking of.
Oh, Jerez.
Jerez's on there, yep.
Where else? Italy. Obviously, Imola's on the calendar. Mugello. Oh,
yep.
2020 happened. No, that was it. So, Turkey. Istanbul Park.
Correct.
There's definitely loads more, obviously.
You've done all right, to be fair.
5
seconds.
5 seconds.
4,
Anderstorp?
3,
No, surely not.
2, 1, and time is up, Jamie. Ooh.
Oh, Zolder is probably on there, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh, what?
You got a lot of weird little circuits in your head that certainly aren't FIA Grade 1.
Okay.
So there's definitely a few that you're going to kick yourself about.
Okay.
But there's definitely quite a few that you
named
wouldn't
countries.
know. So we've instantly got 2 from Portugal.
Oh, Portimao.
Yeah.
And I don't know the other one. I don't think.
X1 track back in that is Portimao.
Oh yes.
Hosted Grand Prix back in the 80s and 90s. Still is a racetrack to this day. Scene of Senna's first win, I believe.
I always thought it was Portimao. I can't remember. What's the other one?
Estoril.
Oh, Estoril, of course. I should have got that.
A couple that you're going to really be annoyed by because they've
Okay.
hosted Formula 1 races in an era that you love.
Oh, no.
Early 2010s.
Early 2010s. Oh, India.
Yeah.
Korea.
Correct. Yep, those 2 are on there.
Yeah, I should have got them.
One that you probably don't know, but is fairly popular, or it was fairly popular a few years ago, and was actually meant to host the Chinese Grand Prix, is the Chang International Circuit, until Shanghai spent $1 bajillion on hosting their
Shanghai
track.
is a great circuit.
To be fair, it is. I'll give it that. Another one you're going to really kick yourself over, Magny Core.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I should have got that.
A few that you probably won't have heard of. Igora Drive and
that was the
Moscow.
Russian one that was taking over from Sochi. Igor 5,
I believe that actually might have been Moscow in the end, but there's 2 in Russia. Sochi wasn't on the list, rather oddly. So I don't know. It
definitely is.
Well, it definitely was, but I don't know if it's...
they must have just taken it away when they invaded Ukraine. But who knows? They definitely ripped the contract up, didn't they? But
exactly. But you wouldn't lose its FIA Grade 1 license unless something else had happened. Last few then, Motorland Aragon. You might have heard of, but I'm not surprised you didn't get. And the last one, Jamie, which made me laugh because I mentioned it literally before we got into this, Fiorano.
Oh, yeah. Well, I should have. Yeah, never mind. I'm surprised there's not more random American circuits on there, but I guess they wouldn't be F1.
They're not Grade 1.
Yeah.
Tracks obviously don't become FIA Grade 1 unless, of course, a FIA are hosting events there.
Yeah,
and obviously
stuff like
the FIA...
I'd have thought would have been there.
Well, the FIA don't... it's actually, I suppose, with World Endurance, it's only Grade 2, though. It's too bumpy.
Yeah. There's too not enough runoff either for high speed.
No, exactly. So, I mean, you did pretty well there.
I'll take that.
I think you got about half of them.
Yeah,
you got about half in the end, so you didn't do too badly. So, could be better, could be worse. Right. Winter testing, Jamie.
Yes.
People are going to look into the lap times. You're going to look into the lap times if Hulkenberg's fastest.
Yeah, I am. All that matters, basically, the big things you can take away is how many laps is usually a good sign of who's all right.
Correct.
And... well, I guess it goes hand in hand with that, but if any teams have massive reliability problems.
Also correct. And the last one I would say
I guess drivability, isn't it? You can kind of tell.
Well, long run consistency was the third one I was going to suggest.
Yeah. It's mostly to do with the team prep and laps, though, I think. And you kind of, most of the top teams don't say anything. I remember back in the day, every year when Mercedes were dominant, they would be like, they wouldn't set the fastest time. They wouldn't really say much about performance. They would just get on with it and keep their cards close to their chest.
So I think we went through a 4-year window, didn't we? I think it was between like 15 and 18, where Ferrari every single winter testing went fastest and didn't win a world championship in that time. Yeah.
So no doubt teams will be making up that Mercedes and Ferrari, are going to be faster than the Red Bull. We'll get to Bahrain Q3 and Max will be on pole by 6/10. So
probably. Well, he's not that good a qualifier, but I see what you mean. I mean, it's going to be interesting this year because I think more than anything else as well, isn't it? It's probably going to be about how quickly teams can adjust to their new car concept. You know, whether there's going to be some setup struggles, you know, whether there's going to be a lot of teams trying to do longer runs but having to cut them short. This and that, of course. It runs, so for those of you in the UK, it is meant to be live on Sky Sports again this year. I'm going to try. That's with big hesitation. But I am going to try and do some live streams on at least Wednesday, Thursday. Unfortunately, I'm unavailable Friday. Just through maybe just the morning or something like that. Just sort of discussing, obviously, everything that's going on, which should be good fun as well. But it's certainly, I think people are going to be watching it quite closely, but there still feels like an element of status quo, isn't there, Jamie, from last year?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's interesting that every car concept pretty much has changed. So there will be stuff to be learned, which is good for the sport. But it's definitely an evolution rather than a revolution this year.
Well, the best one I've seen as well this week, obviously I'm sure you saw this as well, was the Mercedes new front wing. So they have been really, really crafty with that, haven't they? But staggered they revealed that before Bahrain testing. Yeah,
it's unlike Mercedes as well, isn't it? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if it's the killer silver bullet to winning a world championship. Obviously,
I can't see it.
There's no silver bullets in Formula 1.
Well, the W11 was. Well, that was black, I suppose.
Well,
but
yeah. Close enough.
I mean, apparently already other teams are looking at the legality of it. But
of course they are. That'll be another thing to look out for in testing.
Exactly.
Is teams getting annoyed that other teams are not being legal.
Yeah. To be fair, though, obviously, I know you mentioned the Mercedes private test they did. They've never really had anything that's been deemed illegal in the end, have they?
Yeah, Mercedes are too clever to do that. Obviously, Ferrari just turn up with a voodoo engine and everyone knows it's illegal. But Mercedes turn up with DAS and they found an incredible loophole.
Well, it's because normally as well they run it by the FIA before they do it as well, don't they? So DAS was obviously pretty much developed with the FIA, and of course the FIA are like, well, it's going to be illegal next year, and they're like, yeah, fine, don't care, it's already good to go.
It's already won us a championship.
Use it 1 year, then remake it, well, especially obviously then because there still was no budget, so of course they could throw whatever money they wanted at it. But I can't see it being illegal, but I can certainly see it being outlawed either for 2025.
Yeah, that's usually what we see, isn't it? Unless it is straight up against the rules. You think of innovations like the double diffuser, the F-duct, the blown exhaust. All of these things were like, okay, you've outsmarted us with a loophole, but you can't do it next year.
No, exactly. So, I mean, for those of you that obviously don't know what's gone on with the Mercedes front wing, basically, obviously, there were new rules stipulated in the ground effect regs for 2022 that all three front wing elements had to be both connected to each other, the front wing, and the front nose cone. So what Mercedes have basically done with the top element of the front wing this year is connected it to the nose cone by the thinnest piece of carbon fibre you'll ever see in your life, which basically allows them to channel more air into the Venturi tunnels, which of course will increase downforce. So it is a very, very good little innovation. But of course, like we said, it would not surprise me if we see it being deemed illegal next year, because probably very quickly will teams try and then take probably the first two elements, won't they? To try and channel even more air in. Because
and
obviously
your front wing will basically flexing because it's held on by no carbon.
Exactly. I mean, carbon's pretty tough. But it's it's difficult enough, isn't it, to test what you can do with a front wing, isn't it?
Yeah,
because obviously they react so differently under high air density.
High loads, That sounds like my degree, but I did not do it that well, so I can't comment.
We could have had a fantastic aerodynamicist for free on this show, and now we've just got a mediocre
material scientist. Yeah, I can talk about carbon fibre, but not how it reacts under high pressure wind.
Fair enough. Have we got anything else to add, Jamie? We've rattled through everything we needed to this week, haven't we?
DTS is back. Get in.
Oh yeah,
we love it. We love it.
Well, I might end up watching some of that on Friday.
I think I'll probably watch it until it gets to the Hulk special, and I'll watch that and stop.
Yeah, that seems about right for you. We might do a talk. I was looking back through some of the archives, Jamie. Do you remember when we watched the Schumacher?
Yeah, that was the longest one ever.
Of review. That was good fun.
Yeah, so and then we were just ranking the top 10 F1 drivers ever. That was clever, wasn't it? At the end of a 45-minute show. It
was fantastic. But thank you all as always so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll return next week then with our full 2024 predictions once we got winter testing out of the way. That is gonna be spicy, and then it's Bahrain Grand Prix time. It's finally back, Jamie. Formula 1 is here and I love it.